Okay. That's what we'll do. Alright guys, you ready? Let's do this thing. Okay, let's see. We're gonna do a the Tatev game between Bern and it's the French advanced variation. So I need to turn on the engine. Sorry about that. I really thought the engine was on. That was weird. Okay, E4, E6, D4. This is the French. And then this is the advanced variation right here. Then remember what we talked? The line could go B6, Bishop D7, which was played, Knight E7, and even a potential, but not really highly looked upon, F6. So those are kind of the four lines. So she went. The Queen to B6 is the main line. What was played is actually the main line with Bishop to D3. This is more of a modern. This right here is more of the modern line. That is B2. This is more of the old main line castles. What it's the whole purpose of the bishop being traded off for these pawns is that the light square bishop's white's best bishop. And hold on one second. Oops, hold on. Come on, work with me here. I have to get this going. Okay. Oops, snap. I have to. For some reason that did not work out the way I thought it was gonna. Okay. Okay, we're back here. Okay, this right here, this move sequence, we'll get to the point really efficiently. This trading off supports the center. If white can hold the center, he gains space to the king side, and then he'll be able to win. That's why trading off. Also, the pawns are on the dark squared, so it's beneficial. This light squared becomes good, so it's not a problem trading off in some lines. Okay, G6, Knight C3, Bishop H6, E1, Rook E1. I mean Bishop Queen E1, Knight E7. Rook D1, B5, B takes C5, Bishop takes C5, Queen takes C5, and then Knight to F2, with a potential idea of going G5 to attack this bishop. And then potentially later on implanting itself into either F6 or here F6 or H6, depends. Knight F5, Knight G4, bishop there, Knight H, bishop comes, and now the queen potentially could come in here and checkmate. Queen D2. Rook E6. Rook AF1. Rook takes F6. G4. queen takes a4, and white's trying to storm the barricade, as they would try to say, or the ballistas, and take out the pawns using this type of a setup. So potentially that might be okay enough to do, because he can't really take back. So I think that she's threatening mate, so that's kind of a forced move. And b5. And now when the king moves, that's going to come off the board, and then there's no way to stop the majority of pawns. Now this is Simon Williams in the linear variation of the French. Of course, you know that there's a the classic line that we're going over, which this is the Bern variation, remember? And the pawn takes, and the knight retreats right in there. So this is the linear. He's not worried about castling because he's going for he's got enough attack going. Knight ce2, and then c5. Boom. That's breakage time. Takes. Now he's disintegrated the pawn structure in the center, so black is doing very good here. Castles. Excuse me. Now the knight's under fire, that's protected, so, and he's storming the center because he's got central control. He doesn't really much care about if that happens, because there's no really way to deal with this. He's gonna have to kind of play like that. That's kind of an idea. Alright, let's do this. This is the Horzek defense, but it's kind of very similar to the London system. It's the London system. You have to always remember that, remember what we talked about here? You have to be prepared for this idea. How do you meet that? Because that's under fire. So you'd have to play queen to d2 to cover that and cover there. So and then at that point he could develop. Then you can develop here. Castles, castles. At the right moment, push. Provoked a weakness on the king side. Castles. Double attack. Trying to see if you can't get that going, but now everything's cemented and the queen's kind of a problem. I don't know if it trades. Does this actually help white? Maybe. I don't know. That's kind of interesting. Can't take back because of the pin on the rook, so if he takes here, Pretty interesting, to say the least. Okay. Now that we are ready to go, we're going to go into our London system, set up for the members. So we're going to be pretty soon forming a team. And then if you guys want to join, you can just send me on here, and we'll type in your name. Okay, let's see, what do we got here? I think I already did. Okay, game 3. Here we go. Excuse me. Did we already do a London game? Okay, yeah, we did. We did game 2, so we're going to do game 3. So, d4, d5, knight f3, knight f6, bishop f4, e7, e6, and then e3. This is the London system. Bishop d, and then rather than leaving it here and playing either like bishop d, bishop d3 or knight to d2, the bishop drops back. Basically, he says that White's happy to exchange the bishop like this because he gets the open h-file. So rather than do that, the knight comes into e4. So White actually, it says in here, White takes the dare of letting the knight take the bishop. So what White plays is bd2. He's saying to Black, go ahead, snap off my my bishop. I dare you to. Yeah, I also said that this right here would be a waste of time, if you're wondering about that. And h takes g. Now White, Black took the bait. Now the h-file is open for the attack. This is supposedly a dubious move. Let me see. What is that? It's a dubious move because after this move here, White immediately seized the initiative. You can, and also, what they're saying is this would be right here a dubious move as well, because we'd play here, h6, c4, c6, queen c2, knight d7, castle queenside, and then the following would be G4 and G5. That's the other line. Besides this, there's also another line that could potentially be played as well. B6, C3, C5, Bishop D3, G6 to hold, and E4 at this point is really strong. E4, Bishop here, Queen E2, Knight D7. This right here would be an interesting move. I think that's what that means. Yeah, interesting move. Castle queenside. And he's saying that in this line here, that it's not clear if black has any advantage if black would have gone down this line. It's iffy. And then he talked about there's one other line that could be played, and this right here is actually the move that he said gets an exclam, because C3, Knight C6, Bishop D3, and H6 with another exclam. And the whole idea based on this is for the ability to play on the queen side for black, and to stop any counter thrust for white. That's kind of the idea of that move sequence. But this is a dubious move, and so white gets the initiative with E4, which is an exclam at this point. So I have to go put an exclam, which is the good move. His idea is, the correct idea is to actually open the center, because he doesn't want C4 to be applied here. It goes pawn takes E4. He talked about that B6 might have been a oops. B6 might get rid of that, not that move. B6 might have been an interesting move. Bishop D3, Bishop B6, and then E2, Queen E2. This gets an exclam for the move, and white retains the advantage, because after takes, if bishop takes, you have you have C4, and then D5 to open the center. So he doesn't do that. He takes. Knight takes, and this starts the attack on the king side. E7 was played, Bishop E7. He says that this kind of looks very similar to a Rubinstein variation of the French. That's kind of what he was saying. He also, rather than B6, there is a potential knight F6, D3, knight takes, bishop takes, H6, Queen E2, keeping the pressure there, C6, castle queenside. This leaves black very cramped. Hey Fox, we're going over a London system game right now. this would leave black really cramped in that line. So that's why he went bishop to e7, kind of to leave some ideas open for a potential, maybe if there's a counterattack, he might be able to, his bishop on e7 might be a better place there. But you never know. There's always a potential later on, because this knight's here. There all may be a Greek gift later on. So bishop d3, because you're playing against that there. And this was a bad move. That not a bad move, but it was a mistake. So they're saying that potentially better would have been c5, d takes c5, knight takes c5, knight takes c5, bishop takes c5, queen e2, and bishop b6. I mean queen b6, c3 with a potential battery. Then let me see, bishop c3, bishop d7, sorry, and knight to e5 with an attack on the bishop. It stops castling at this moment. Rook d8, and then white castle king sides with an exclam. This is kind of a it says that in this line here, white would be in a big time, I mean black would be in a big time problem. There's really no place for his queen to castle safely, because if he castled here, he would fall right into not a fun move sequence potentially here. And if king takes, then you bring your bishop in, your queen in, I mean. And if you tried something like that, you get mate would happen. So he can't do that. So there's really no place found for that bishop. Let's see, I think there's one more line. That was A. B line is b6. Bishop to b5. This is an exclam. It pins the knight. Bishop d7. And knight e5. Another exclam. Double attacks the knight. Bishop takes e4. Bishop takes. And king f8. Queen h5 with a checkmate threat. G6, Queen h6 check, King g8, Queen f4 attacks the bishop and threatens mate. So bishop f5 and g4, g4, g5, Queen f3, g6 to retreat back, knight takes g6, h takes g6, rook takes g6, king takes g6, I mean g8, rook takes g8, rook takes g8, and then queen takes the pawn on f7 exclam. It wins because if you play there, what happens is you castle queenside, and there's really no way to stop, well, no way to really stop mate from coming down the pike. So that's kind of the problem that he was facing, black was facing. So in his mind, he thought that would be a better way to kind of stunt this bishop's diagonal power. But actually it just accelerated white to bring his knight back. He's not in any big rush. He can reroute it to e2, f4, potentially g4 is an idea. queen d2, castle queenside, and you have a mega attack. 1 second, I get a drink of water. Better. Okay, sorry about that. If I drank in your ear, I didn't mean to do that. So, knight f3. Yeah, let me see. What does that do? He's trying to, black's trying to see if he can't chip away at white's center with a potential c5 after castling, of course. c5 after castling. But that's far from a reality. White's not going to just sit around and allow that to happen. He's going to go boom, e2. There's a giant hole on e5 for a knight to be jumped into. So, and if the knight can get stuck right there in there, there's no way it could get dislodged except from a trading. And potentially castle queenside puts a rook on the same file as the queen. So then it would be a silly idea for c5 because it would open up a discovery on the queen. So white's actually doing rather well here. And then castle queenside, knight, okay, castle queenside, oh, knight d5, sorry. Knight takes d5, pawn takes d5, and at this point, what am I missing here? And if he takes there, he plays here, knight takes, pawn takes, you win a rook. And basically the game's gonna happen, so we gotta delete that. Oops, sorry about that, guys. Didn't mean for my map thing to slip there. Let me see, takes c5. Okay, g5. I believe this is another dubious move, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, another dubious move. He was saying that rather than this, castling would have gotten an exclam here. And then after that, the bishop would have taken in. I think he could have held, potentially with something like that, but it'd be kind of a little bit of concerning, you know. I don't know what would have happened, but that's a dubious move. f4. I don't think, what in the world? This can't be right. Did I do something wrong here? I want to make sure I... Hold on, let me see if I have this all right. Hold on. Okay, we're going to go back to move 12. I just want to make sure I... Castles, d5. Knight takes d5, c takes d5, e5, bishop there. Surprisingly, that was the move that was played. But I wonder if I missed a if I missed F3 somewhere along here. Just give me a sec, guys. So I think I might have missed something. Hold on. I'm working on commentating and doing it, so I'm hoping I'm putting it in right. So far, so good. Okay, that's okay. E4 is an interesting. I mean, yeah, E4 is an interesting move. I gotta put an interesting mark there. So it's a good thing I went back through, anyways. Dubious. E4, exclam. C takes E. Knight takes. Bishop E7. So far, so good. D6, D3. F5. Knight C3. Knight F6. E2. C6. Castles. D5. Knight takes D5. C takes D5. And then E5. Bishop G. Let's see what the computer says about. That's what's puzzling about this. It says F4, which is surprisingly that was played. Then F6, so he must have missed that takes. B5. Oh, that must be the problem. D takes E, okay. Irritating. I think I put in a move incorrectly, guys. I apologize about this. 6. I just gotta go over this because it's not recording it quite right. Because he has a lot of notation in the book, and I just want to make sure I'm doing everything D7 correct so far. E4. D takes E. Knight takes E4. E7. So far, so good. D3. Knight F5. C3. F6. E2. C6. Castle kingside. D5. Oh, duh, that's the whole problem right here. I missed. I did it wrong. D5. I did E5. That was my problem there. D takes E5 and then C takes. Okay, sorry about that, guys. That was my my problem, my issue there. There we go. Now this makes practical sense here. Okay. The other way didn't work because it would give that would be a double question mark move. Now f4 is playable without losing the queen. f6, and then here we go. Now we get b5 with a check. Yes, we got this. King e7, j4, trying to break the pawn structure down so that if we could take and then he takes back, we can win the queen with a discovery. So a6 and then a4. This gets an exclam mark because what it's also trying to do is get to b3 and also potentially take advantage of the weakening when this gets traded off here. That'll be weak. But he's it's actually what he said is this is a far in the future plan to get here and then dominate the a2 to g8 diagonal. So the bishop takes the knight because sometimes you just gotta do that. And the queen comes in. Now you centralize the queen, and f7's played to get out of the pin. G takes f, e takes f, and bishop b3. Now there's a pin here, a double attack, so potentially a rook. And if the rook moves, then what we could do is just win a pawn, and queen takes, and then we take there with check. Let me see here. Bishop e3, bishop e6. Kind of to keep a hold of the d5 pawn and the f5 pawn with the bishop. Now, as Jeremy Simmel would say, it's a tall pawn or an oversized pawn. Now we go de, because we want to keep the rook here, because this rook on h1 keeps this rook passive, because if the rook ever moved, this pawn on h7 would fall with an attack with the queen and rook, so that would end in a pretty sad mate. d7's played to hold the bishop because of this double attack of the queen and rook, and then g4 to totally crunch this. It's time to open everything up. If he takes here, we can just push, and bishop takes, we bring the rook over, and then we have an attack here. So this gets an exclam mark. That's what he's saying. And so it's a good move. He wants to pry everything open, so it takes f5. He said white played f5. White gets a little bit carried away. That's what he's saying. And best would have actually been this is a question mark for white, which is a mistake. He's saying though best would have actually been to, oops, I don't want that. Come on, get rid of that. Okay. Best would have been rook to h5, because rook h5 with an exclam, it now institutes the ability to potentially go g6. I mean f6, f5, attacking the bishop twice. So if g6 gets played, h6 is an exclam move, because then now what you're preparing to do is go rook h1 or rook e to h1 and double up on this pawn to win the queen. So that's kind of why I played that. And rook e2, let's see, a d8, and then now we are doubling up here. And the king, what would have to happen is f8, which is a double question mark, and that's met with a tactic because you can't play there because of here, and then you get check. Let's see, how could it says it's, oops, my bad there, sorry, wrong, but that's not the correct move sequence. It must be not rook takes, it must be queen takes. I must have missed and the king has to run. Then queen takes, and if rook takes, you win. So you can't do that. And I'm saving all this for you guys because we're going to be forming. I'm going to work on getting a team together, and I'm going to save this for the members to go over. These will be lessons that you guys could go over and study for the London, and it will help you guys improve. So let me see here. And then he says he gets carried away one more time. This move here is another question mark. It allows black to actually escape here, but black does, and it says that rather than that move, the best move would have been rook h to f1, pinning the bishop, and king g6, rook takes, queen takes, d6 check with an exclam, f7, and then rook to e7, check. And really, let me see what it does. What did it say? It said rook e, oh, rook e5, not e7, rook e5. But there's a potential check. You can actually escape with something like that. So he plays a really bad move. This is actually the losing move. This is a double question mark, which is a blunder. That's a blunder. G6 allows for the king kind of somewhat hold because the queen, and it allows the rooks to get going. But f6 is f8 is already over because then you have rook h1, and then at this point it says that why let me see here. Hold on, let me see what it says here. Well, what he's saying is back here. This is the summary wrap up. White actually won here. Black resigned because there's really no way to stop the checkmate that's gonna come to pass. It's mate in 3 because it's basically you're gonna have to go here, here, there, and then that's mate. So that move set up for the rook coming here, and it was a mate and 3 after that, or mate 4. 3, and then just click down 2, 1. But let's go back and go over what we talked about. He says that you have to be careful when black wastes a move like that and then takes and allows that to be open up. You have to make sure that you take advantage of the momentum that you have in the position and allow for don't allow black to get anything going. Like when black played there, white just cracked open the center, and that was the whole idea, just to get everything rolling. So you have to really be careful of the move sequences that arise down the pike, as I would say. And so at that point, this would be the end result with mate 3. So just and also back here a little bit, right here. Don't be so hasty. Like let's see, did I put that in wrong? Let's see. Let's see. Hold on. I want to go back to where I want to make sure I put all this in correct. Let me see. So move 24. Alright, sorry, right here. Okay, we got it. I wanted to make sure I did that right. This right here was too hasty of a move. The rook to h5 is best, because if he plays there, you could play rook h6 and then come over with rook e to h1, and you can take advantage of black's over aggressiveness. So just keep that in mind when you're playing the London system. Okay, now we'll go into puzzles, because we completed our game, and we'll move tomorrow. We'll go into game 4, and we'll go over some more of the London, and we'll build up a London platform. Okay, one sec. We'll take a look at that. Just give me just a sec, Fox. I'll be right back. I'll have you guys look at this puzzle while I'm gone just for a sec. we'll solve this puzzle and then we'll do those 2 games. Since you guys have already had some time to look at it, we'll go through it. Let's see here. I think we'd be down in exchange if we played here, there, here, 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 and then there, and we would actually lose a whole this would be the only thing that's left out of everything, and he would have that. We would have that, and he would have that. So we'd only have a bishop left. I guess we would be okay if we took here. Maybe I miscalculated. Okay, here. Here. Bishop takes. Doubling up rooks. That is true. That does, yeah. If we if we take here, he'll go there, and then if we take, he'll bring his knight there, guarding that. Yeah. Well, maybe if we push the pawn here, maybe if we take the rook. Rook takes pawn. If bishop takes, rook takes. I'm wondering if it's d takes e5 fox. Let's see here. So if we take, do you have any lines you want to look at? There's also F3. There's this move. There's what do you think? What do you think about F3? Could that possibly be an idea? Huh. Trying to see, is there any other? Best probably at that point would be queen back here. What do you think about F3? Any ideas on F3? Because you always got to look to see if there's anything better. Excuse me. I think we just equalize though after takes here. Kind of see what you're saying. I see that potentially this is kind of forced here. But let's see if we take there. Can he go d5? Let's see if we take here. I don't think there is equal line. I was just trying to see if there's any way he could do that, but if we take d takes e5, oh, that is true. Yeah, we'd be out material on that line. Okay. What if he plays there, though? Oh, I see. If he takes, rook takes, and then bishop. Yeah. Okay. Okay, now let's look at that game. Let's just pull up another one just in case. It looks like somebody's studying this game. Which side do you wanna do it from? Unless you want to do it from Marshall's side? Oops. Oh, King's Gambit accepted. Wow. I'm thinking that, if I'm not mistaken, that might be a line that is normally played. I think this is the line that's normally played. And I've kind of studied this slightly. And he plays there, and it's kind of it's already been it's a pre-done line idea. And then you're stopping everything from happening. Okay. He plays d5, which is not. It's kind of interesting. I haven't really seen this. I think this is still okay for white, for black. I think you take in that line, if I'm not mistaken. I believe. Oh, you retreat back. Huh. Wow. I was wrong on that. You kind of, otherwise you kind of go on a one-piece queen raid, and that's not the idea. It's not a queen raid. It's bishop g4 next, and potentially our knight c6, bishop g4. Exactly. D4, knight c6. King g2, kind of to get a little safer bishop, and then h4. This kind of holds the rook so that he could play this line. Knight f3. It's kind of scary for white. That's so sweet. And I think okay. Wow, this is a crazy game for sure. Look at these pawns, man. These are like crazy pawns. Now these bishops are dominators. Look at that. This is so cool of a game. I like it. I love it. Like if he plays knight takes here. And he has a better pawn structure in the endgame. I think this is losing for, let's see what happens here. Yeah, that's a lost move, I believe. I think that's the losing move, yeah. Yeah, you have to stay in, he's got to stay in contact with that piece. With something like this. That's the only way to keep the draw option open, is to do that. When he played there, that's game over. Because then you have a check. Then you push. And it's that one tempo you need. And then if he plays up there, I think we can... oh, we play here. Okay. Oh yeah, I forget. Knight hate rook pawns. Okay. Okay, mate and 30. 30, wow. So mate and 30. Okay. That should be interesting with mate and 30 going on. Okay, do you have another game you were looking at? Or do you have any questions on this before we move on? Do you have any questions on this before we move on? Let me see. Okay, well, let's turn that off. Yeah, let's see. So you're black? Oh, okay. Okie dokie. Do you think it'll ever be as strong as Alpha Zero? Who knows, huh? If it learns enough. D3. Wow. 3,000. Castle is okay. Queen takes. So they're going basically this knight in the French. This is a French defense opening then, right? What opening is this? Yeah, the French Tarrasch variation. Okay, let's see here. Back here. I think taking probably with the knight would be best. I don't think taking with the pawn. Maybe I'm wrong. It doesn't really, it says that, but it'd be equal at that point. It doesn't want to give up for the bishop. You know, in the older times, the computers would trade their knights for the bishops because they were like bishop crazy. That was their whole goal, is the bishop. If they can get, like, they favored their bishops. But they learned that the computers over time. Sorry about drinking. If I drink your ear. Yeah, what they learned over time, the computers, is that it's more beneficial to keep the pressure rather than get exchange down. Surprised white allowed the rook to actually do that. I mean, I'm surprised white allowed the bishop to actually take the pawn. That wasn't a very wise idea. I believe that black's mainly not, it's better, slightly better, but it's, no, the rook's trapped. No. 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 Not good. This knight pair duel is like devastating to white. Wow. You'd think that white at this moment's winning, but it's f5. Well, I think that was a little too premature. I think it'd be too overwhelming if he took there. Yeah, that was a blunder. Yeah. I think it's all over at this point. Let's see if there's any hope for Yeah. Yeah, I blundered that away. Yeah, this is a one game for black. Huh. Yeah, I don't think there's any hope. Let's see. Yeah, let's see here. We'll try one game and then we'll get busy. Maybe not. Nah. Let's do our puzzles rather than do a game. Because you really don't learn very much from the games. So we need to get on to our puzzles and start building up our repertoire. It's tempting to play, but what you need to do is just keep studying. 90% study, 10% play. Let me see. Yeah, I think that's... Thinking it's queen takes pawn. Let's see, if we take the pawn, queen takes f4, I believe is the correct line. Because that takes advantage of everything. Hey, how you doing? I'm a little tired today. A lot of work, school work and stuff, and then outside work as well. Well, I'd probably take at the, if we played here and he played that, let's say we played up here, he took there, I'd just take there, sorry, okay, here, there, I would take there, and then queen would take, then pawn would take, and I think we're winning at that point. I think taking is the proper, and I think if we take here, he's gonna go there. So here, here, and there, and then here, there. And we should be okay. Let's see. We would have that, that, and then he would have. So we'd have 6 pawns to 4, and we'd have a bishop and knight. Yeah, I think we'd be winning. I think this is it. What do you think? I'm believing that has to be the sequence of moves. Oh, snap. Oh. You were right. I was wrong. How come that's... Oh, yeah, it was right. Drat. What's wrong with that? Oh, he could just retreat back. Oh. Snap. I missed that. Yeah. 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 Because he has to move at that point. Actually, he doesn't have to move. If he plays something like this, we just take there. And if we take, he takes, we take, and yeah, we're up a pawn. We're up 2 pawns. Yeah. Drat. I did not see that. Yeah, I didn't see that. That was my fault. Yeah. So I gotta remember, don't get distracted. Don't get distracted. Let's see, what's the sitch with just queen f7 here? Am I missing anything for queen f7? I think you're right. I think that's better. Yeah. No, I think Fox is right with this line here. Well, no, that's the sitch. That's a sitch problem. Yeah, because if we played there, well, nope, I'm wrong. No, that is Fox is right on that. Because yeah, because even if he plays here, we just take. Yeah. That's fine. Even if, see, if we play here, he plays there, we just come up and take. Yeah, the line would be queen, e8, rook takes, a5, and then queen takes g6, g6, 6. Oh, why doesn't it work? Because if we play up here, he can actually come over and snap that pawn off. And well, I guess it might. Well, no. Well, I guess it does because the king guards that, doesn't it? Huh? Maybe that's right. Man, this is puzzling. Maybe I'm missing something here. Yeah. I realized that actually, yeah, if you play it up here, yeah, you take there, that you just take there, so maybe that is right. That is interesting. King h8. But I don't think that he would take the rook, though. Would take the pawn. I don't think he would take the pawn at that point. Because if we played here, he would just slide over and grab that pawn. That rook. And then after we take here, he would grab that. He would just take our rook, doubling our pawns, and then win a pawn. And I think he's better at that point. I think we actually lose a pawn in that line. Interesting. Okay, if we play h7, plays rook takes, then we actually can play queen takes at that point. So it has to be. So it has to. That's the nice find there, economy. No, because this is defended at this point. See, if we play here at this point and they plays there, the queen guards this and we can just come over and grab that. Nice find there. Yeah, this is an equal. It actually helps him out at that point. Because if we take there, then he'll take here. And he's actually up material. Trying to see if queen a2 and then a after he moves, we'll say there we have rook there. The only problem with d4 I see is that he has rook to d4 rook a8. Because what would happen is if we played here, rook a8, rook checks, king up, and then he dominates this file here. Because he gets the important rook to a8 in. That's his whole idea, is to cover this open file here. That's why we took here. See, we took here to open this up here. By taking, he left that open, so that actually works here. Because if he let's say he moves here, right? You actually can checkmate him with, let's see, I think that hold on, let me see, what am I missing here? Okay, if d8, okay, then we check, it goes there. Okay. Okay, yeah, I see what you're saying, yeah. Okay. Let's see, what do we got here? I'll be right back. You guys take a look at this. We'll do this one and then we'll do 2 more after that. On this. Let's do this thing, okay. If we have this here, he'll just grab that. I think he'll just grab our let's see here, what am I missing? What am I missing? Am I missing some? I'm thinking potentially it might be knight No, that would let the queen out. I need to. Let's see if we take here. You could try there. Interesting. Yeah, that would make a difference, wouldn't it? That check does make a huge difference. Yeah. So what do you think? What do you think, economy? Oh, you're kidding me. How in the Hector? close. Hmm. Missed that one too. Okay, so let's see if we can't get some of these points back. You were you were right, economy. Sorry about breathing. I think it's just yeah, because the bishop already guards here. Oh, I know what it is. Let me see here. Okay, if we play, oops, sorry. If we play here, plays there. If we play here, maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, it has to be this. It has to be. One more. One more, then I gotta log off. Not to worry. Not to worry. Well, if we do this, and then he goes here, that would be checkmate in 3. It'd be mate in 3 if he did that. See here, here, there, there. Knight intercepts, and then the queen takes, and it's checkmate. So if we take here, he's got to flee. He's got to flee there. It's a discovery, though. It would be a discovery check. It'd be a discovery check at that point. See if we played here. Oh, that is true. You're right. Oh. Oh yeah, yeah, you would. That is right. Yeah. Huh. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. But wouldn't the rook take the queen, though? See if we play it here. And then he plays there, and then we play here. Wouldn't he just take there? Yeah. Oh, nice. Huh. No, that's right. No, that doesn't work because of this here. So if that takes, yeah, I see what you're saying with that. Yeah, if he plays here and he takes there, you take there, and it leads to a mate. So if we played here, he has to take there. No, that doesn't work. That does make sense. Because if we take here, if he takes here with check, we can just move our king, and there's no real checks. because this is covered, that's covered, it's covered, that's covered, this is covered, all this is covered. That's covered. Yeah, I think you're right on that. You're right. I believe that has to be the sequence then. Yeah, everything's covered. Man, it looks so dangerous, but after taking, there's nothing. Yeah. I think it has to be queen. I'm trying to see which one it is to take with. Is it queen takes? Or is it bishop takes? I think we get mated if we take with the bishop though, because I think we get mated if we take with the bishop though. Because what happens if we take with the bishop, it blocks our queen. Oh, true. That's okay. Not a problem. Well, do you guys have any questions about this? That's okay. Hey, you know what? We're doing good. You know what? You know what? We're learning. That's the whole thing. Okay. Do you guys have any questions about this? Do you have any questions about any of this before I log off? What? What's the question? Yeah, didn't notice the draw either. It's okay. You know what? We learned something. You know what? Just king straight up, and there's nothing you can do because this is covered, that's 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 covered. That's actually the best. If he takes over here, that's let's see. This is a 12. G8 is a 9, and then E8 is 7. So either way, we're dominating. Either one of these is crushing. Do you have any other question? Any other question on any of the lines? Alright. You know what? We learned a lot. That's all that matters. You gotta keep pushing forward, you know what I mean? Learn from your mistakes and you'll get better. That's the whole thing. And you know what? We're not gonna be perfect. You know what? We got to see that it was a perpetual if we would have taken. We got to see what would happen if we took it and we won. So all that is you know, rewarding in itself. So points come, points go. It's the knowledge that you keep in your mind and the brain you use for the Lord that matters. And remember, like Hannibal Smith, you need to see like 3 moves ahead. It's predicting what your opponent's going to do before they even do it. He said that's a plan. And so we have to remember that. And like Bobby, they asked Bobby and the Grandmasters, how many moves do you see in front of your opponent? 1, and it's always the right one. So, you know what? Keep pushing forward and doing chess. Okay, guys, we're going to do this. So I'll leave you with this. As Wesley So says toward the Lord Jesus, as I say, God bless, and I'll see you next time on Chess Cruncher TV. Have a blessed morning, afternoon, and evening. And I'll be back on tomorrow, Lord willing. Keep studying. Bye-bye, guys.